are going to forego that part of the annual meeting. So we actually only have four things on our agenda. Call to order, the Pledge of Allegiance. I hope they have a flag.
Michigan State flag.
Oh! Ohio State. Ohio State.
My wife was.
Anybody got any red, white, and blue on?
Jim. There we go.
Yay!
That does it.
That looks like a flag.
This is a quandary.
Jim's got a
You
flag
want
on
to
his
mess
shirt.
up the basketball camp next door? We're all going to go in the gym and see. I'm not going to do that.
Open door. Yeah, iPad.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan's the pledge. Right out there. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Approval of the 2021 minutes. Has anybody had a chance to look at them? Because there were no minutes, there was just a few public comments. Do we have copies of those? I'll read them to you. Call to order at 6:30. Accept the meetings from 2020. Move to accept 2020. And these are the minutes, public comments, 8 comments. Motion to adjourn at 6:45. Second, so all we're actually doing is just moving to accept these minutes as written. There's just a
Also move.
so moved by Pat McGinnis. Is there support?
Support.
I hear 2 voices and see a hand. Sally? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. So we will go right to public comments. Again, I apologize. This is about as mishmash as you can get. Pardon me?
Or just the agenda?
This is the
Yes. Yeah, we'll come around to that one at the regular meeting. Yes?
Do I have to stand?
Public comment if you'd like. It's going to be because there's no PA, no mics. Let's just indulge each other with our quiet. Go ahead.
I'm Sally Snyder, and first of all, I would like to say that I'm very proud to have the opportunity to live in Tuscarora Township. I think that as the township has grown and projects that our boards have facilitated has made it an exceptionally good place to live. I'm a little tired of seeing all the negative in the township. Unfortunately, we see that in the newspaper too. Some of us get letters to the editor. I think that if people are unhappy with things, maybe what we need is a town meeting that talks about when you're unhappy about something, it's probably because you don't think the township is going in the right direction. And I think that rather than holding an annual meeting where we vote on salaries and you see how many people you can line up in your camp as to whether you're going to vote salaries down or you're going to vote for the salaries, I think we need to think of a creative way to find out those residents that want to come talk to the board about what the future looks like, where we've been, what we like, what we don't like, not telling them why we don't like it. It's just, hey, we think we need a change there because we don't think this is working. And until we get to that point, I think we're as in bad shape as Washington, D.C. is. You see that same, everybody takes their side, and we're really not making much progress in the country, and we certainly are about to stop making progress in the township. You should be very proud of your township board. The accusations that say that they're stealing or whatever, I heard the auditor's report. I'm surprised somebody that's talked about all the negatives of the auditor's report reads it differently than I do. So as long as we're gonna take corners, I don't think this township is gonna be as desirable a place to live in as it has been in the past. So I would ask the board to do two things. I'd ask them to think about how salaries are, how board member salaries are handled, because your township officials are doing a lot more work. We expect a lot more work for them, and we're not willing to pay them for it. And that doesn't bode well for the future, because you won't have young or experienced, perhaps the best person for the job, running for your township board. The other thing I would ask them to consider is to have a town hall meeting where the electors can get together and talk about what we think the future of Indian River looks like and how we're gonna get there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comment, please. Go
You
ahead.
said I could, okay.
Jill Holmes, I'm over here, so maybe you can hear me. 6533 South Avenue in Indian River. If you Google I want to talk about short-term rentals. If you Google short-term rentals in Indian River, Michigan, here are the results. Verbo, 627 vacation rentals. Airbnb, 120. Home to go, 48. It's cabin time, 11. And that's just, there's many, many more. I'm just giving you some examples. The average daily rate they get is $254, 65% occupancy, and $3,373 revenue monthly. And the neighborhood homes that are purchased for short-term rentals affect your home value, your school, and your community. The realtors are being sued over not disclosing short-term rentals next door to the buyers. You have the power, I'm speaking to you, you have the power to protect our residential zoned areas by limiting the number of short-term rentals in an area, an example, duplexes, multi-apartment houses, and homes. LLC companies are buying up properties in entire neighborhoods for short-term rental use. You want the community to be all short-term rentals? Short-term rentals will steal the workforce housing, thereby reducing public school financing. I don't want to be too long, okay? From a legal perspective, the IRS, under the transient rule delineated in section 168E2, if a vacation rental is leased for 30 days or less at a time to visiting tenants, it should be classified as non-residential real estate. And under these special circumstances, the IRS now recognizes short-term vacation events as commercial real estate, which carries a 39-year depreciation. So in other words, they're not homes, rather they are classified in a similar fashion to hotels. So I asked you, why are you not able to get a resort tax like other states do? I'm wondering why. And there's no background checks for transient people, and I think that's kind of scary. The courts have decided in numerous cases that the difference between a long-term rental of residential property is a residential investment, but that short-term rentals where the property must be managed and worked at continuously to rent is a business venture, not a residential venture. These short-term rentals impact so many factors relating to our quality of life here in Indian River, the initial reason why we bought and invested in our homes, and the ability to resell our homes for a continuation as a residential property. Ultimately, this free-for-all affects the tax income base of the city as well as our population numbers and our sense of community. And what is at stake is the integrity of our neighborhoods, the value of our homes, and the peace of mind that we want to continue to enjoy living here. And for all these reasons, we really need some rules and regulations and a way to regulate so many short-term rentals that are popping up in Indian River. Examples of regulations would include a registration fee of like 100, you would set it, but 150 to 250. An inspection by building officials, a town license, meet fire and safety codes, and conform to town regulations for parking and noise. Set up a tourist tax account. We are not banning them. We are simply implementing rules and regulations that are aimed at public safety and protecting the neighborhoods where these rentals are located. Registration is required for operation, and then if they wouldn't do all this, they would have some violations, which would include fines. I did speak to the Sheboygan County over zoning laws, and he said that short-term rentals are permitted in zoned areas here, and it's up to the Tuscarora Township to approve any ordinance with regards to any regulations or a license. Now, some other places that I want to tell you about. Just, I don't know if you guys saw in the news, but on Channel 7 and 4, the East Bay Township, they had a similar situation over problems with short-term rentals, which are taking over their entire neighborhoods. And they asked their township if they could give them a pause, because there they have licenses. So ultimately, they did pause, they're limiting how many you can have in an area. And also other places, like Traverse City, Leland, all Sleeping Bear Dunes, they all have ordinances that regulate these rentals. And I fear more and more rentals, people are going to come here because we have no rules. So you're going to have an overflow. They're going to be leaving those areas where there are regulations and coming here. And I just feel that we need neighborhoods here in Indian River for neighbors, and I think that sometimes our neighbors here are like our extended family. I've been coming here since I was a baby, and so I just love the area, and I just wish we could keep it the same. My hope is that we can keep it the same, and you will think about making some rules and regulations and limiting the number that people can have in an area. So that's really just my hope, that we can do something about so many of these popping up.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Public comment? Public comment? Yes, sir.
I would agree with the majority of what Ms. Snyder said. I think you're all grossly underpaid. I think that there needs to be a metric tied to that. I think that now is the wrong time when we have a huge pension fund deficit. We don't run a balanced budget. But I agree. We demand a lot of you. We're going to be demanding even more as the population grows, as the VA hospital comes in, as we see development. I am completely in favor of raising all of your salaries, but not now.
Thank you. Public comment? Yes, go ahead.
Mine is continued with Jill. I'm concerned about the garbage at these rental places. On Holden, I don't know if you've gone by, but their garbage was picked up last Thursday and their cans are still out there. How long do I have to look at that? And is there any chance the township could ever get one garbage company and maybe get a discount or something for the whole township instead of everybody finding their own?
Thank you. We've talked about that, and it's been brought up before. Public comment? Please, Scott.
I very much oppose that one garbage concept. They've tried it a couple of times, and what they were going to do essentially was have all of the residential garbage picked up by one company, which would make it unviable, financially unviable to have other companies do it, and then they close the businesses on it. So there are some serious problems with that. They will give you a sell job on it, but if you analyze it, it's not good. In fact, they talked about, the board was actually supportive of it at one time. Except, I think one member, I think Craig Waldron actually spearheaded the effort to get it shot down. And Craig and I were right together on that. I understand your problem with the garbage about the BRBs. That may be an issue. I will concede that. I don't know what's going on there. But the answer is not to do that one garbage.
Okay. Thank you. Public comments? Public comments? Public comments? You raised good points, both of you. Yes, go ahead.
Question, except for the things that Jill articulated, and it was really interesting, I guess I would ask Gordon, have you noticed any issues with the proliferation of short-term rentals?
We haven't had any issues other than the trash gets left out of the road, animals get it, spreads all over the place. Occasionally we'll get a loud noise complaint. We had one last weekend where my guys were sent down to deal with a domestic issue. But other than that.
I was just curious to know if that was impacting the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comments? Yes, go ahead.
Indian River's a tourist. We rely on these people coming in to support the town, and that goes for the fishing too. If we start cracking down on everything in this town, it's going to be like our government right now. I just think we've got to stop and think about these other things. I mean, when people move up here, they know this is a tourist town, and they should speak to the owners of these places.
Public comments? Yep. Public comment. No public comment then. Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Support? Scott supports. All in favor? We will take a break and about 10 minutes, start at 7 o'clock regular meeting.